Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. The Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez card has been released, but I do want to just first off by saying a big Merry Christmas to everybody that is celebrating. I've had a few days off, so I haven't actually seen you guys over the Christmas time, but for me it's the 27th of December today. Anybody that celebrates Christmas, a big Merry Christmas to you. People who don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you still got to spend time over this holiday period with your loved one, your friends, your family. Hopefully you had a prosperous 2025, and I hope 2026 is even better for you guys. In terms of me personally, 2025 has been an up and down year, but the main thing that I did want to focus on this year, and I did do it, was start a YouTube channel, start a community, talk boxing with you guys, create some relations within the boxing world. And luckily, you know, I've gotten close to 400 subscribers, which is great. And I thank every single one of you that engages on the channel, likes the video, subscribes to the channel. It's granted me opportunities to work in media and things at boxing events, which I wouldn't normally get to do. And I can only thank you guys that sit and watch these videos. And look, hopefully 2026 can be an even better year. We can aim for 500, 600, 700, you know, we can be ambitious and aim for 1,000. Look, the more people that join this channel, the more money I can commit to it, the more time I can commit to it. We can start doing live streams and anything else you guys want to see. And if there is something you want to see for 2026, pop it in the comments. I'm always there engaging with you guys because I appreciate it. And without you guys, there's no back and forth, there is no channel. So a big thank you to all of you and a Merry Christmas once again. All right, let's read out this card. Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz is running as the co-main, which is weird because there is title fights on here. This is just a super lightweight belt, but Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz, followed by Bruce Shushu Carrington versus Carlos Castro for the WBC World Featherweight, Carlos Adames versus Austin Amo Williams for the WBC World Middleweight, Jarrell Miller versus Kingsley Abe for heavyweight, and Ziad Al-Mayouf versus Kevin Castillo at welterweight. We might as well start talking about the co-main because it's probably the one that's gotten the most attention. Keyshawn Davis returning after that farcical episode in June with Edwin De Los Santos.
I told y'all I was going to be back and better, right? I told y'all that, right? I told y'all that, right? Didn't I tell y'all that? Like a motherfucking diesel Oopa Loopa. Like a motherfucking diesel Oopa Loopa. Don't fuck with him. He's back. On the backhand side of the aisle. Oh. He's back. He's back. He's back. Back and better. On the turkey card. Hello. We went from ESPN to turkey. We went from ESPN to turkey. Hello. Back and better. Back and motherfucking better. Jermaine Ortiz. Now look. I see all that arguing and fiddle-faddling y'all was doing on Twitter the other day. It was so hard for me to keep my cool and shut up. I been knew I was fighting you, but I just had to shut up. I could not say nothing because I ain't want nobody fucking this moment up right here for me. It's official. They released it. They can't fuck it up. It's official. It's official. I am back. January 31st. January 31st, the big man is back.
Look, I like Keyshawn Davis. You know, I've seen him ever since he was in the Olympics. Obviously, he lost to Andy Cruz in the final, I believe, of that Olympics. But since then, moved into the professional ranks, really jetted himself through the professional ranks, as you do when you are an Olympian. And I had a lot of respect for him, but the way he held himself in that fight against Edwin De Los Santos, not making weight, the fight in the sheds, and everything else that went around there, and his personality and everything that went in there, it did make me lose a lot of respect for him as a professional, as a person. All right, what he does in the boxing ring and him personally are two different things. I still think he's an outstanding boxer, and nothing's going to take away from that. But in terms of, do I think much of him as a person? From that, no. Right? I do believe in, you know, redemption and proving yourself afterwards. If he can come back and prove to be the ultimate professional and a good person, look, you got to give these people the benefit of the doubt. You turn these things around, and I'll grant you that. But at the moment, yeah, what I saw from that fight, I know it's got nothing to do with boxing, but I think with a lot of these people, Olympians, professional boxers, you are a role model to a lot of people. All right, there's probably thousands of 9 to 14-year-olds that are in the boxing gym in America, and on a Saturday go to watch Keyshawn Davis and say, look at the way he's acting. Is that the type of role model that you need in a sport that is held with high value, because it's one of the few sports in the world where you go out there to seriously hurt your opponent. And so I think there's a lot of professionalism that needs to be held. And he didn't show that in that Edward De Los Santos fight. You keep the fighting to the ring, not backstage in change rooms jumping people. So in terms of the fight, though, lots of talk, because I think people are expecting it to be Keyshawn Davis versus Richards and Hitchens, which Richards and Hitchens calling out Jermaine Ortiz, calling out Keyshawn Davis, and when the fight comes, his name's not on the list. He's the champion. It's in his hometown. Hasn't fought since George Kambosos Jr. back in, I can't remember what month that was, June, July, August, in and around there. So, yeah, it is odd that we haven't seen him. In terms of Keyshawn Davis, I thought his fight against Dennis Berinchyk was elite. The fight against Gustavo Daniel Lemos was very, very good as well. Then you compare that to Jermaine Ortiz, and whenever I think of Jermaine Ortiz, I think of the fight against Teofimo Lopez and Vasily Lomachenko, and although he fought quite valiantly and the cards were close here and there in those cards, he did lose both of those fights, and those were his most high-profile fights. So, yeah, I think this will be much the same. I expect Keyshawn Davis to fight better than what he has. I think people that weight drain we've seen, especially recently, fight even better at their natural weight. And I think Keyshawn Davis, super lightweight, will be closer to his weight. And I think we're going to see a better performance from him as long as he takes it seriously and he's trying to be a professional. If we see the antics that happen with Edward De Los Santos and a whole host of shit, then you just never know how it's going to go. A bit like Ryan Garcia. When Ryan Garcia is on and he's trying to fight, you see a very different one to the one that we maybe saw against Rolly Romero, right? I even think the one that we saw against Devin Haney, even though he was on substances, he was there to win that fight. He was there to do everything correctly. Yeah, he took it too far, but in terms of going out there to win a fight, I mean, he really risked it all to try and win that fight. Bruce Shushu Carrington versus Carlos Castro for the WBC World Featherweight title. Shushu Carrington, very, very good fighter. What is he, 16-0 now, was interim champion. Ray Vargas is the champion in recess. So I thought Shushu does become the full champion, and this is his first title defense, but in some places it's listed as a vacant title. So I thought this is Shushu's first title defense, but maybe he does have to win this fight to earn it. Carlos Castro, I'm very surprised he's got it. I don't know what he's done to deserve this title shot. Yes, Shushu hasn't fought the most elite of competition, but his last opponent was 16-0, 17-0, whatever heater was going into that fight. I thought he was undefeated. Yeah, undefeated in a way that's questionable, but still undefeated opponent. Carlos Castro, his last fight was a loss to Stephen Fulton. And before that was three guys I've never heard of that had shocking resumes. And before that, we're looking at the losses that he had to Brendan Figueiredo and Luis Neri. So I'm not sure how Carlos Castro fights early part of last year, loses to Stephen Fulton. Early part of last year? Late part of last year. Either way, his last fight was last year, 2024, over 12 months ago, loses to Stephen Fulton. Why is he now in a title fight? I know it was a split decision. I know it was very close. But what grants him this title? He did what shouldn't have been granted a title of the 3 wins that he had before losing to Stephen Fulton. So that would be my opinion on Carlos Castro. Ultimately, Bruce Shushu Carrington should win this fight. His win over Heater was very dominant. I actually was hoping that he would get the stoppage. Didn't go for it, but still a very good unanimous decision victory, and I expect him to win the title if he doesn't already have it, which I think he does. All right, Carlos Adames versus Amo Williams. First time I'm going to see Adames since that win. Well, I call it a win in February over Hamza Shiraz. It was a draw. For me, I didn't watch that fight and at the end think in any way, shape or form Hamza Shiraz got a result. Whether that was a draw, whether that was a win, I thought it was always Carlos Adames winning that fight. However, slightly, 1-2 rounds at max. I thought Adames did plenty enough to win that fight and ends in a draw. Hamza Shiraz definitely gets away with it. And Carlos Adames, I thought there was going to be a sequence of fights for Adames that sort of led in towards Erislandy Lara or Yanibek Alam Kanali or Terence Bud Crawford. And we've got Bud retired. We've got Yanibek. Who knows what he's at right now. No results have been confirmed or denied yet. He believes he didn't take them. The VADA tests say something differently. So I think this is just smart. Adames, get in the ring, get a fight. And Amo Williams, I mean, one blemish on his resume, and that was that knockout loss to Hamza Shiraz in a fight that, if I remember correctly, that was June of last year, and he went into that fight favorite. Was he favorite? Was it even money? It definitely wasn't. Ammo was definitely not supposed to go in there and just lose by knockout. I thought it was a very, very close fight on paper. The fight was very close, but Shiraz ends up getting the victory. And since then, he's fought 3 times, 2 stoppages, 1 unanimous decision victory. His last fight was Ivan Vasquez on the Cafu versus Bam card, and I think he gets a late stoppage in that fight as well. And I think this fight's very, very close. Just because he lost to Hamza Shiraz doesn't mean that he's going to lose to Carlos Adames. I mean, Carlos Adames was supposed to lose to Hamza Shiraz, in my opinion, and Carlos Adames is very crafty, very nifty, and he's stylistically a bit of a nightmare, especially for someone like Hamza Shiraz, who is tall, rangy fighter. When somebody's trying to get in close and doing this crafty stuff, Hamza Shiraz just couldn't work it out. And the other thing about Hamza Shiraz is I think he does look better at super middle than what he did at middle, and I think Hamza Shiraz looks better under Andy Lee than what he did before. Whereas Ammo Williams, I think the 3 wins, I think he's going to be more than competitive in this fight. And you'd back Carlos Adames to win the fight, but would I be surprised in any way, shape, or form that Ammo Williams wins it? No, I wouldn't count him out for 1 second. Jarrell Miller versus Kingsley Abe. This is the first time Miller's fighting since that draw to Andy Ruiz at the start of last year. May of last year. I don't know where Jarrell Miller is in terms of his ambitions to fight, but it seems like he gets put on a card and then he's, right before the fight, pulled off it or said he's not going to fight or whatever. I always think of the Fabio Wardley one, Justice Huni filling in for him. It's like, what's happening for him or his camp and everything else, that there's always a question mark. Is Jarrell Miller gets put on that paper, but is he going to be there on fight day? And that's something that needs to be worked out. They've put him at the bottom of the bill for a reason. In terms of the fight, he goes in there and he beats Kingsley Abe quite comfortably, in my opinion. I don't think it'd even be a question. But yeah, I like Jarrell Miller. I think he brings something to events. He brings eyes to it more. If you love him, if you hate him, you want to watch when he fights, all right? And that's just one of those characters that you need in boxing. But I want to see you fight. I don't want to see you put on cards and then not fight. So the last fight is Ziad Al-Mayouf versus Kevin Castillo at welterweight. Yeah, you'd probably back Ziad Al-Mayouf to beat Kevin Castillo. He's one of Turkey's men that he's trying to get through. Look, I like the ambition for Turkey to want a Saudi champion. I do. I think every country should be having the best interest at hand for their fighters, no matter what country you are. You know, you've got fighters there, you should be pushing them and trying to give them every opportunity to win that world title. The last bit of news as well that we are going to talk about, because tonight is Night of the Samurai. My predictions for that, by the way, is Inoue stoppage and Nakatani stoppage. Kenshiro Teraji versus Willibaldo Garcia for the IBF Super Flyweight title has been cancelled. Willibaldo Garcia has fallen ill following the ceremonial weigh-ins and was taken to hospital. Teraji still intent on fighting. A replacement is being sought. Yeah, on a day's notice to get an opponent, you're either going to get a shocking opponent or you're not going to get an opponent at all. I feel for him, I do, because no matter who he draws, no matter who he fights, whatever he does will never be good enough. You know, if somebody comes in 1 day's notice, resume of 5 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, and you go 5 or 6 rounds, why did that go 5 or 6 rounds? The guy was there on a day's notice. He's terrible. You know, knock him out in the first minute. Well, that's what you're supposed to do because the guy was ill prepared and he's not on your level. The problem is, I can understand why Teraji wants to be. This is the night to showcase Japan, Japanese fighters, Japanese culture, and everything to do with Japanese boxing. And Teraji was going to play a crucial part on that. And I feel for him because it's not often that the Japanese fighters get to be showcased in the UK, the US, Riyadh season. And this was that opportunity. This was that grand opportunity to show the world who you are, what you're about. It was a good fight against Willibaldo Garcia for a world title. And unfortunately, it's been scrubbed for no other reason than his opponent falling ill, which neither would have wanted anyway. Willibaldo wanted to be there. Kenshiro Teraji really wants to be there. So no matter what his opponent is, I hope he gets to fight. He's never going to be the opponent we want to see. He's never going to be good enough in that fight, all right? But I hope he gets the opportunity to fight against whoever it is. All right, that is all the news for today. Like I said, tonight is a big night of boxing. I've got Junto and I've got Inoue winning by knockout. I think it'll be straightforward for both of them. Good opponents on paper, good resumes, good numbers, but youthful and inexperienced, in my opinion, I would describe the two fighters as. And I think Junto and Inoue make their statements and sell the fight that's coming for those two in Tokyo next year. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Merry Christmas once again. I will be speaking to you before Happy New Year's, but Happy New Year's anyway if this is the last video of mine you watch. And hopefully 2026 we can run for 1,000 subscribers. Let's be ambitious. We might not get there, we might do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here, guys. See ya.